109.
109. We're still here.
Still here.
Still here, and today's Rapture Day.
Rapture Day. We're still here. So take that as whatever you will.
We didn't make it.
We didn't make it. No. That said, I don't think too many people have made it. So
Well, somebody made it. I mean, why would Jesus come and then leave without taking somebody? I don't actually know what rapture is.
Maybe there's nobody worth taking anymore.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's that. He comes down. He's like,
we actually had this discussion yesterday.
Yep, on the other Rapture Day. Apparently, it's 2 days.
Yeah, but before we knew it was Rapture Day, I did not know it was Rapture Day.
Yeah, I didn't either.
This naturally came up as a topic, and so
take that for what you will as well.
How do you take that?
I meant that as a joke.
Oh,
like we were talking about it before we knew.
Yeah, we were talking about it, but we were talking about, and this is so I wanted to discuss, I guess. Not necessarily Jesus, but Jesus could be an example of this. But it came up from when we finished the last podcast. I guess my statement was, because we're always functioning out of our personalized trauma, right? Our personalized trigger, our nervous system is always triggered. Everything that we then bring into this world is a reflection of that unprocessed and unactualized and unawareness. And so then the statement that I had, or the thought that I had that you got triggered by, was, I wonder if when you reach the point of peace, right, where your nervous system is stationary and your heart is fully opened and you are I don't even have to say an ascended being, because I don't know that term. Yeah. That term within itself is not even a term.
I don't know if we have a good word for this. I mean, you could call it ascended. You could call it enlightened. You could call it all these things, but I don't know what word.
Yeah, like there's obviously a place that somebody, let's say Jesus, possibly is, and I don't know if Jesus existed there or not, and I don't know if Buddha existed there, and I don't know if any ascended teacher or guru or whatever was ever there. But when you reach a peace, like on Yogananda style, right? Like he talks about all of his teachers, they were just at this equalized peace with the universe, with everything that there was. And then when they were in that state while they were alive, and then when they were dead and they were in their light form, they could appear and go as they wanted.
Yeah.
But they were just pure essence of love.
Like the Indian teachings say that, once you reach, I guess, that level, you develop the siddhas, those like, quote, magical abilities. And, some are weirdly specific, like, oh, I can, walk on water, or I can, float, or I can, make any flower smell like any other flower. They're, some of them are weirdly specific.
Yeah. Yeah. And Yogananda talks about all of the, I guess, yogis or sages, whatever you want to call them, that had these abilities, and they reached this point of enlightenment, or I guess whatever you want to call it. A lot of them, after they've been in caves for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and then they come back with this amazing ability. So my thought process is, the conversation started with this thought process. Are beings who are in open heart space, is there even such thing as a desire to engage in anything if the world is perfect, right? And then you took it to the point of how did you?
Well, I took it as if one has ascended all the way up and one is truly in an open heart, loving state, one basically you've reached unconditional love for everyone and everything, then I was thinking, obviously there's nothing left to do, right? Because you're at peace with everything, but you would want to share it. That was what I was thinking.
my thought process just with that statement, to do implies, but what is even to do? Like that in the Osho book that I'm reading, they were talking to whoever this person is who reached enlightenment. He's like, so when you reach enlightenment, what did you do next? And he's like, oh, I asked for a cup of tea. Right. So to do in your case implies a lot of ... because things are wrong and then therefore have to be doing. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I mean, there's nothing left to achieve is probably not a great word here either.
But do you see what I mean?
You've already in that you've already reached enlightenment, so you're done. But I know that is completely the wrong way to look at it.
Well, you're looking at it from the only point of awareness that where you are is there's something to do, there's something to achieve, there's a goal to reach. And my point is only because you are trapped in unprocessed trauma and then therefore the desire to clean or not clean or interfere with other people's cleaning is solely there because you feel like your life is spiraling out and this is the only pretense of control you have.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So over here in the state of enlightenment, you still do what you did. You have tea. Osha's like, you go fetch water, you listen to the wind blow, you make your bed, you garden. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. But I was thinking, and you can also share that through, whether that's teachings, whether that's helping out people who are suffering, whatever definition of suffering you want to use. I was thinking that, well, that's just that would be the natural state of
you were
that.
hoping. And so yesterday we had like several hour discussion about this. Is I think the truth is you were hoping that once somebody reaches a point, they will come back, because the entire conversation that you were having with me was I am not at the point of awareness, and I'm not at the point of enlightenment, and I'm not at the point of tranquil peace and open heart. And I'm struggling to get there. I'm struggling to move forward. Or there's all of these nuances and things that I don't understand and I wish I had help with. And here's somebody who has the answers.
Right.
Why? So obviously they would come
back and share the wealth.
Yeah. But I think the statement, the sentiment, even though it's applicable to the current state of us trying to have our nervous system running and vulnerable in that unsafety and vulnerability loop, I think in the long run, what you're being poked at is the child.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think that's probably like always true.
I say that differently. Yes, it's always true. But I say that differently now because even after you spend time meditating on it and analyzing, you still didn't reach the same conclusion.
Right. I kind of doubled down and, I'm like, yeah, well, I see how I want, the enlightened people to come back and teach me because, that, that's safe. And, without that, it's unsafe. The idea that nobody would do that is terribly unsafe. But I still think that was what I would do. Loaded statement. And so I just kind of assumed that's what they would do. Kind of, I guess, hoped that they would do.
Yeah. So I think in that case, what happened is we uncovered once again a blind belief into surrendering your sovereignty into a rescue hope mission.
Right.
As opposed to recognizing that you're being triggered.
Yeah, no, I did not realize that.
And so because of that, I thought, okay, in today's Rapture Day, I thought it would be, and then after we talked about it, then my mind kind of like linked to, you were brought up in a religious cult.
Yeah.
And so then I thought, okay, I was brought up Greek Orthodox, but when I say that, like without any religious teaching, so like there was no Bible to where I knew Bible stories. Like we did not go to church other than Easter, like, or just walked in sometimes, lit a candle and left. Like that was the extent of church going, right? So I'm familiar with Christian-ish, based-ish religion, but not to the extent that you are. And I thought, okay, well, in your case, and I think this is what is happening today, a lot of people become indoctrinated into an idea that there's a safety net out there if all else fails.
Yeah. I mean, I think that very much was an idea when I was growing up, because from day one, I'm in this church thing, and it's like, yeah, as long as you are a true believer, as long as you are baptized, as long as you repent and pray and are a member of the Church of Christ, the one true and only religion, and everything else is definitely wrong.
But this applies to all religions.
Yes, but my specific flavor. Then God's got your back. Worst case, you have a crappy life and you go to heaven, right? It's because you're in the chosen few. So there is this idea that well, if everything else on earth ends up failing, well, at least there's God / Jesus, who are somewhat the same kind of, right? At least there's that. So there is this idea that there is a fallback, a safety net. Yeah, a safety net underlying all existence. At least if you are in the special group that happens to believe it.
So what I want to say is why I want to reframe of what that actually means is going back to like our discussion about unsafety, and then because of the unsafety, right, we do not experience ourselves. Like we're not open to the true version of us. We're not open to the peace and tranquility that, the enlightened people have. And so I'm just tying that back. If you feel unsafe, which is what you do when you come in here and you're a child and the world is unsafe, you find out that the world is unsafe and you develop your flavors of unsafety. If you grow up with the teaching that there is such thing or such concept as God or Jesus or, I don't know, whoever else out there, whatever other sects of religions out there, and you can pray to them and then they will help you. What that does is that instills this idea that instead of me drawing awareness to the unsafety that I feel right now, and then staying in that unsafety and then pausing it and going, why is it that I feel unsafe right now? Why is it I'm triggered? Why is it that I am like rushing to pray and this is overwhelming and I'm crying? And what is the trigger points behind just any one influx where you feel like you need to pray, right? What it does inadvertently is it gives you a way out of awareness and into this, oh, I'll just pray to God, oh Lord, and then everything will be okay. As opposed to, you could still pray to God, oh Lord, it doesn't matter. As opposed to going, why is it that I'm triggered? What is causing me so much distress in this moment? And you can say, oh, well, it's the bulldozer that is currently digging up our yard, or, whatever it could be. And you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's a real physical expression that here I am sitting and there's a bulldozer digging and then that's destroying my flower bed or flower garden, right? That's the physical expression of it. But then you would go, well, what does that mean? Oh, well, all of my hard work has become undone and all my flowers are gone, right? And then you go, okay, well, now the flowers are gone. So then what? Okay, well, all that work and all that beauty that I worked on, all that work that I put in is just wasted, right? And you would go, this is besides the fact that the bulldozers themselves are unsafe. So I'm not even going that direction. I'm just going on like the flower gardens, right? And then you're like, oh, well, look, I've made my yard look so good. And the flowers are so beautiful. And now this damn bulldozer bulldozed them over, right? And so you're like, okay, well, what does it mean for you not to have a beautiful yard? Well, then our yard looks like shit. Okay, well, what does it mean for you not to have a yard that looks good? It looks like shit. Oh, well, then, then everybody's going to look at my yard and go, and I'm going to look at my yard and go, oh, that's just a shitty yard. Well, what does it mean to have a shitty yard? Oh, it means, I don't take care of my yard.
Property values.
Or I don't take care of my yard. Well, what does it mean that when you don't take care of my yard? Oh, I don't take care of my things. Oh, what does it mean when you don't take care of your things? Oh, well, then I'm bad because good people take care of things. Oh, what does it mean that you're bad? Oh, shit, I'm bad and nobody likes me and I'm alone and that's unsafe and vulnerable. Do you see what I mean? Like,
right.
I went away from the bulldozer example to the more superficial one, I guess, as opposed to, bulldozer literally can knock your house down. But, right, and so then you're praying to Jesus or God or Lord or whoever to make this bulldozer go away.
And then it's their job to take care of it. And you don't have to worry about figuring out why you're unsafe.
Well, in that case, you're actually almost using it just like a drug to numb off the feeling of unsafety.
Right. It's stuck at the surface level. It's like, oh my gosh, my flowers are getting destroyed. Please, Jesus, stop the bulldozer. And you don't have to worry about anything below that. It's stuck at the surface level of the flowers.
Yeah.
And this is the exact same thing with the whole like love and light thing. It's like I don't do dark stuff. It's just love and light. Like we just pretend that this doesn't exist in the same way that we're pretending that everything underneath the flower beds, all that whole chain that you listed, we just pretend that that's not there and it's all about the flower beds. Well, we're just all about the flowers and we don't talk about the bulldozers or anything below that.
Yeah.
That's the easy trap that a lot of, certainly religious and spiritual followers will fall into early on because it feels good. It's nice. You don't have to worry about all those shadowy things. You don't have to worry about the actual, work here. You just get to, float up there in the flowers and everything's great.
Well, it doesn't feel, the thing is, it doesn't feel great to have your flower bed be violated. Do you see what I mean? So you're already in distress, but instead of getting to the core center of why you feel distress, which is this childhood trauma of I am bad, and if I'm bad, that's unsafe and no one will take care of me. You don't even go there. And you just like you would numbing yourself off with alcohol or drugs or going for a run, under the wrong pretense, you would pray to God, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. I use Christian terms, but that would apply to any other religion that has the same connotation. And this is not to say that God, Lord Jesus is not the right thing to do or something to believe in. What I'm saying is there's a very easy trap to use it as an addiction mechanism, not to draw awareness to yourself.
Yes.
And so, I don't know, I guess people always say, oh, religion is there to build in more fear and all this and all that. And that's true. But in this case, it's also there to numb off truth.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? And inadvertently, this is not, a priest will not say this. Like the priest will not go, oh, well, if you, maybe he will say this. Maybe if you go to a priest and you're like, oh, Father, I feel so much distress and the world is full of war and terror. What do I do? And he just says, pray. Maybe there's that.
I think that is probably a very common answer.
Yeah, in the movies, I know I've seen people do that, right? But the truth is, yes, the world is full of war and terror or whatever, right? If that is your reality. But then why does it matter?
Right.
How does it bother you?
Yeah, just saying pray means you need someone to come in and intervene so that you don't have to feel it. That's what you're praying for. I want an intervention to come in and stop the war, stop the bulldozer, whatever, so that now I feel better.
So I don't have to recognize and dig
Right.
into the trigger
Exactly.
of why I am triggered by war.
Exactly.
Right. Which is weird to say because people are like, oh, how would you not be triggered by war? Right. It's literally war. Right. Right. But to highlight, there's this reactional state of being where you see the war for what it is. And then you don't have to be in it and you don't have to be run away from it, but you have to just accept the internal state of being that is causing this outflow. And acceptance is seeing yourself being okay with discomfort.
Yeah.
Right.
Acceptance isn't, okay, it's there, and I'm not going to think about it, and I'm going to pretend it's not there. That's not really acceptance. That's what's so easy to do is, oh yeah, there's the war going on, but that's terrible, and I wish it wasn't, but okay, I can accept it because it really doesn't affect me sitting half a world away, and I just don't, and you just forget about it, right? Pretending that you've accepted it.
Yeah.
That's not really acceptance. You're ignoring it.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, I'm still rereading the Osho book, right? And he talks about acceptance is just disguised unacceptance. Remember, we had a podcast about this. When you accept something, what you're actually saying is, I'm forcing myself to say that I accept it, or on the pretense I want to see that I'm accepting it. But deep down, there's still a dualistic split of
rejection.
Yeah. And so any form of any kind of opinion, other than fully opening into that space, have it be war. I know that's like difficult to say and even more difficult to imagine. It's still a rejection.
Right.
And you're just trying to fight your way into the comfort and the peace of being okay with it. But deep down, you're still rejecting it.
Right. Yeah, right. Acceptance is not just being okay with it. Acceptance is
having no opinions about it.
Right. It's
opening. Your heart is open to the flow of what it is. And in this case, it's something that societal norm have accepted, that war is bad.
Right.
But you're opening and flowing in the loving heart to the concept of war.
Right. It's easy to, accept, butterflies and rainbows because we want those. So that makes me think that's not even really acceptance. It's like
butterfly and rainbows.
Yeah. It's like, that's everybody wants butterflies and rainbows. Those are great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the opposite of rejection. You're almost like trying to pull it more toward you.
Well, there's a dualistic split, right?
Right.
You fear the concept, but because through some teaching or through some spiritual love and light, you're supposed to be accepting. You're supposed to have, be a good Christian or a good citizen or a good comrade or a good, whatever, right? Then you're trying to behave in some way, either for your personal gain or for your personal blindness, in order not to acknowledge the storm that is brewing inside, which is actually a rejection.
Yeah. Like I'm sure there are things that are relatively easy to accept. If the weather doesn't go the way that you were hoping because you had an event or whatever, then it's like, okay, well, that is an easier thing to accept, I think, and that kind of gives you the feeling of what acceptance really is. If you can do that. Now it is still difficult. I am not there to take that and apply that to war or something like that. But there's a very peaceful feeling to true acceptance.
Well, there's no sway.
Yeah.
The pendulum is over here and you're trying to I'm gonna.
Yeah. It's not, oh, well, it is what it is, but I wish it wasn't. And it's not, it is what it is and I want more of it. It's just, and it isn't even just, it is what it is. Oh, so I guess that's what it is.
No, your heart is actually opened.
Yeah.
Fully opened. enlightened awareness style,
Right.
to the concept that societal norms would actually deem bad.
Sure. Or that societal norms or that your preference or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the thing. I mean, you have opinions for and against all kinds of things. It's almost to not have the opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess.
Like,
but
we-
then
we have-
by default, I want to say it's almost not to have an opinion, but I want to say by default, the opinion becomes beauty. Like when you spend enough time just accepting, truly accepting, not this pretend acceptance, right? But truly accepting everything and accepting everything and accepting everything. That was the contemplation that I had at the end of last podcast. Everything is just beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have almost no behavior that I can foresee if I'm over there stuck in the dualistic aspects of goods and bads and acceptance and rejection that is not mitigation in some way of some
Right.
sort of unsafety.
It seems like there are not a lot of things that we truly don't have some opinion about.
Because it's triggering.
Right. We happen to have trees in our backyard, and some of them are let's say a poplar tree, right? I like having trees back there. I think that's nice. But I don't have an opinion that happens to be a poplar tree instead of an oak tree.
You do have an opinion to make sure it continues to survive, though.
I have an opinion that the ash trees don't die.
You have a lot of charge behind dying trees. I mean, this is just a side note. I don't know. Whatever it is like still a trigger there that is not actualized.
Right. I was trying to come up with some very specific, narrow example. I don't have an opinion that this tree is this species versus that species.
Yeah, but like a flower, right? It's blooming and it's gorgeous.
Right.
And then do you hope it's there tomorrow? Do you not hope it's there tomorrow?
Right.
It's just a moment of now and its beauty. If you get attached to that flower being there tomorrow, or the bulldozer not trampling it over, right, or the bulbs surviving through the winter if you don't dig them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can feel the amount of weight that gets added on to everything that is not flow.
I mean, accepting the impermanent nature of everything is kind of to me, like the base, the root thing to accept. Because it's like everything's going to change. Whether the tree is going to be there tomorrow or get blown over or get old and die or burn down, or there's a war that starts or stops or continues, or whatever is as trivial or as significant, or the sun, the heat death of the universe, right? There you go. It's all of this is.
But when you say that,
change is inevitable.
Most people, when you say that, would discount a lot of them, or say like, oh yeah, well, I accept the universe blowing up because they go ... but I can't do anything about it.
Right. Well, there's that.
And I want to point out that it's still not that.
Yeah.
It's the beauty and expression of the universal consciousness, period. And then therefore your heart is open to that beauty. And if the heart is open to the beauty, so you're coming from the top down, universal consciousness expression, vast amount of energy, your heart is open into that energy. And then somebody comes to you and they go, oh, you know what? That butterfly sure is ugly. It's almost like that impossible. Do you see what I mean? It's almost that impossible for you to have this huge amount of love and huge amount of energetic flow that is your open heart, and then have an opinion that you agree with that it equates to a split of duality. It cannot happen, right? So the bodhisattvas and the sages and Yogananda, what are people, and Jesus's people, I don't know, I'm just guessing here. When you reach the point of awareness where the heart is fully opened, somebody can have an opinion that is their truth because they are vibratory fluctuating at a certain range of frequencies where the dualistic split still dictates their reality. But if you're just elsewhere, you understand that they are elsewhere, and then you understand that you're elsewhere. But there's not much needs to be done about it because there's beauty in somebody being elsewhere.
Right. The charge is gone at that level. And you may still...
There's no such thing as a charge. Right?
Sure.
Like I showed you the clip yesterday of and I think the clip was just initially was out there, for all I know it's AI generated. About like a husband and a wife, and it's supposed to be a security camera footage, of like it's a I guess a rear wheel drive BMW. I'm assuming that he puts it in park, and then because of the ice, it just like slides down this, not a big slope, but a slope of a driveway.
Yeah.
And then ends up being on the road. And then he casually kind of like maybe jogs, maybe run, or even walks, I don't know, to it. She stands there. And then this does sound fake. This sounds like it's piped in. She's like, oh, I'm going to go inside and make you a smoothie. And he's like, oh, I'll just park the car in the street. Right. And then this particular, I've seen that clip many times.
I have too.
But in this particular instance, it said what it looks like to have a balanced nervous system or a calm nervous system. I don't remember what the words were, right? And so the calmness of the nervous system allows the heart to open, right? And when the heart is open, the events still occur, but there's no disaster looming. You're not flipping out of bulldozers and running into your prayer room to pray for Jesus to save you from the bulldozer attack on your flowers. The isness of the moment is what it is, and you're able to respond with awareness to appropriate level of response to a situation that, one, does not have to be any more stressful than it already is. You might not even see it as stressful. You might see it as funny, like, oh, look at that. We have this BMW that just rolls off the hill because it's icy. Right. And then, here's another instance of fun that I get to have on Earth based on my choices of cars and the place in the universe where I live, that weather patterns happen to be such where my driveway has a slope and things roll off of it. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's this, but that, to say that is not to compare to like, oh, as opposed to any reaction to that event that is arousing and triggering and anything other than complete calmness and possibly even entertainment would be a trigger into unsafety. And me seeing this clip now versus a year ago, I noticed the difference in the reaction I even had to the idea of like, oh, I wouldn't have reacted the way they did.
Yeah.
And now I realize, why I obviously, I saw it not for a reason, is because now I'm like, yeah, because everything that would have been not that is an overactive nervous system that is functioning at unsafety, and you're constantly on the edge. And this would be super triggering because guess what? The car's unsafe. I'm unsafe. I mean, there could be a plow coming down and hit the car, all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would just disasterize it out to pass the moment of just that instance.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't even just be simply that. You would disasterize it of all the reasons why this is triggering. Right. Like you would actually invent a future or scenario that doesn't even exist and insert it as a potential unsafety.
There could be a kid behind the car that's going to slide over him.
What? But do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then in fact the disasterization and the trigger of how this outcome looks would be very specific to your flavor of unsafety.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think the takeaway is that you can still act, but you don't have to react to this stimuli, whether the stimuli is butterflies and rainbows or whether it's a car sliding into the road. And something still needs to be done about the car in the middle of the road. But even if, from a practical point of view, if the car slides into the road and you flip out and you lose your shit and you're scrambling to, I don't know what you're going to do. There's not much you can do, right? But you're you're trying to get behind it and push it, you're going to end up injuring yourself. You're just grabbing the adrenaline fueled over the top reaction is rarely, if ever, the appropriate response, just from the sake of being practically useful at resolving the situation.
But we're not logical in that sense.
We're not. It's we see the car sliding, we flip out, we're like, oh my gosh, I got to stop it. What's coming? It's from behind you. We just absolutely lose it because we're so on edge about everything all the time.
Your paper towel example yesterday, it's that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? It's not a logical thing. You're not even pausing to process the action that you're taking, right? But the action is out of complete trigger of unsafety that you're not giving yourself even a chance to actualize, because all of a sudden you're reacting to a spill.
Yeah.
Or to a potentially dying tree, or to being late to the airport, or whatever. You see what I mean? But it's because the trigger is always there because you're not allowing the deeper rooted magnetized energy of unsafety flow in order to start releasing this magnetism that everything just triggers this spot.
Yeah.
I'm unsafe and I'm vulnerable as a child, and somebody needs to be there. Right. And then so in Jesus's case, somebody needs to be there. Right. But as an adult, you realize, okay, well, I'm not going to sit there and wait for somebody.
Right.
But you still subconsciously surrender your sovereignty and then your awareness to the idea that some sage, after they achieve enlightenment, will surely come and save me. Because deep down, somebody has to be there.
Somebody has to be there. Because it can't be all on me.
But nothing is on you. And is that how you feel? I'm not saying you feel right now, but prior to yesterday's conversation.
Yeah, because it's like it goes back to the whole just wanting to abdicate responsibility for everything. It's like, well, if you have that safety net, then you don't have to be as responsible.
Is that what it is? You don't think it's just unsafety?
I mean,
I don't know what to do,
and
that's
unsafety.
hopeless.
But that is unsafety, because yes, I don't know what to do and I'm hopeless, but then I don't necessarily have to find out what to do,
or even act on things. Is it just desire not to do any work? Is that what it is?
It isn't even not to do any work. It's not even the work. It's more the responsibility of it.
So you don't want responsibility?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a whole other...
Right. It isn't the work. It's always been the responsibility instead of the work. Because with responsibility, I can fail. And if I fail, I'm not good. And therefore I'm unlovable. And that's terrifying. So the responsibility has always been tricky for me, because on one hand, it's this mixed bag. It's like, on one hand, I can use it, I historically use it to, show how good I am. And on the other hand, any opportunity is also an opportunity to fail. So there's this like selective process of I'll pick the easier wins. Okay,
to showcase how good I am.
Sure, it's like I can
like wiping things off with napkins. Is that one of those? Does that relate in or not?
I don't know about that. Yeah, not that. Like, I don't have an example.
The other video that I showed you about that guy, the CEO of NVIDIA, remember?
I heard it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, this was a business interview, but it just applies to everyday stuff. And I guess, I don't know if he's Chinese or Japanese. What is he? Chinese, maybe?
Might be Taiwanese.
Okay. And he said that the best way for somebody I don't even remember what he was saying, but I will just apply to what we're saying. The best way for somebody to stick through, and he was not talking about awareness, but I will say to reach awareness or to give yourself space for the awareness, is the willingness to power through difficult time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said then the only way people power through difficult time is if they had very stressful childhoods, which taught them resilience.
Pain, pain and suffering is the term he used, isn't it?
Sure, pain and suffering, right? But the pain and suffering is like
You had to struggle.
yeah, you had to struggle in order to build resilience, in order to then stick to or achieve something. And then in my case, I think it applies to awareness. In order to commit to awareness, recognizing how difficult it is, because it feels like you're going against your own survival instincts.
I assume this is true. I've heard about this in the past, that like if there's the little baby chick in the egg trying to get out, and it's struggling to get out, and there's this bizarre human nature to want to help it out
It's the butterfly effect,
and let it
right?
go. Or if a butterfly leaving a cocoon, and like you want to somehow help it out because it looks like it's really hard to get out of this cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do, this butterfly will be
Deformed
and weak because
no, it would just be deformed. It will die because
it's not supposed
the struggle.
to get. The
gets
struggle.
The blood pumping into, like, there's a whole like educational video on why you shouldn't help them. Is because the struggling has the blood pumping into their wings, into their legs, and into their entire body. Like, because you're basically doing this, right? You're pushing and pushing and pushing, and it actually has them unfold, and then able to fly. Otherwise, the wings won't unfold.
There's a Stoic mantra saying that it goes, the obstacle is the way. And it's like, you think you've got your goal, and there's something in the way to the goal. I need to go around it, or I need to overcome it or something. The obstacle itself becomes the goal. Overcoming the obstacle is the goal. It's not, the goal's not,
on the other side of the obstacle.
Yeah.
Right. But the reason I say that is not to have people like create obstacles and dive into obstacles.
Right. But when obstacles do befall you, embrace them and don't try to run away and just pray to make them go away.
Well, I would say, yeah, embrace them. But like, if there is such thing as an obstacle that you feel like there's in front of you, the definition of something being an obstacle means you're having a hard time facing or getting through something.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of powering through the obstacle, I believe the right thing to do would be to recognize what is that is triggering you, that makes you define that particular subject or lesson or point of your job or whatever, an obstacle. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, powering through is not even the right thing to do, is analyzing what is causing you to define this as an obstacle.
Right. I mean, there are things that you do in life. Not everything that you do in life is an obstacle. It's like we're sitting down to record. This is not an obstacle. But like but you could, I'm trying to think what you could think, I'm trying to buy a house and I can't get a loan. That's an obstacle, right? To my goal of buying a house. Oh, and that's really scary. That's really threatening. I'm not going to be able to get a house, and my lease expires, and it's unsafe. I see how you can see that as an obstacle, but it is, it's there for a reason. There's a lesson in it, of course. And maybe just the whole...
you can have an experience in life where it is not charged.
Yeah.
You can have a normal experience, whether a car sliding down or, you desire something to happen. and you're still moving forward in life. There's still action in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not sitting there hovering off the ground, glowing white lighting, and, you know, the Tesla's backing up and going, whoa, you know. Right.
Yeah.
But you're having experience in life through that open heart format, and then there's no charge.
Right.
I would then wager to say that the type of experience that you're having results within itself actually being a higher type of experience, because it's not split into a dualistic expression, one. And then chances are dualistic expression has this negative connotation of the fear-based mindset that where you don't want that to happen.
Right.
Or you wish everything goes right.
Right. That it's like, it almost feels like it's this, it's tricky because a lot of things like hit the limbic system directly before, like, you don't even have a chance to, like, if something's coming at your face, you just react. If you see someone, the kid who ran in front of almost got hit by the car the other day, you were still like shaking after you got home about it. It's like, right, these type of, you know, at some level it's like this, there's a life and death thing, and there's a charge.
Yeah, but you can be shaking and accept the shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Suzanne said, like that medium, right? Go, oh, isn't that interesting? Look at the reaction that I'm having to this earthly experience.
Yeah.
And allow the system to shake.
Yeah.
Allow the system to have the reaction that it wants and desires to have, while having the awareness of that reaction and what is actually hitting.
Yeah.
That you feel unsafe, that you feel threatened, that this feels like you're vulnerable. It feels like things are out of control.
Yeah.
And it's utterly threatening and unsafe.
Right.
And allow that to flow.
Right. I mean, that's where I was going, is that things will hit that, right? It would be great if, you know, less things hit that. That sounds nice. It sounds nice to go, oh, look at my car sliding off into the road. Isn't that silly? But realistically, most people, probably myself included, if my car that I care about is sliding into the road, and oh my gosh, it's, you know, it's the mini end of the world. Everything's the mini end of the world.
But you have to recognize the pattern within your body that have you react to everything as if it's the end of the world.
That's the thing, is that everything isn't the end of the world. And
nothing is the end of the world.
And we blow.
We're currently today sitting at the end of the world, and it's still not the end of the world. Do you see what I mean?
Right. So we blow everything up because we've trained ourselves that everything is unsafe. Everything is unsafe. Anything that goes wrong, may as well be the end of the world. Whether it's the car sliding out in, or we don't get the loan, or, you know, they're out of avocados at the grocery store. End of the world. And they all hit us like at the same level as basically a tiger chasing you through the jungle.
Yeah, but I want to say, when you say we all have designed that, all of us who are refusing to have the stability and the go through and tenacity and resilience to continue to face their nervous system,
right,
while it's at an influx.
Right. I mean, I think most people will start from that point. And then it's, do you just keep going with it? Or do you do what you said? Do you go, oh, look at that. They're out of avocados and I'm flipping out just like I'm being chased by a tiger. Wow. What is that? What is that actually hitting? Because I don't really need the guacamole today. What is that? How does that make me feel unsafe?
But you have to draw awareness to how a normalized nervous system functions, and then therefore know that is a space where you can actually access peace, harmony, if that's the goal, or simply open heart living, right? Without dualistic split. and when there is everything else. Right? What I'm saying is based on our conversation yesterday, the day before you spent time trying to draw awareness and you still stopped short because instead of realizing that I'm willing to go into that space of complete discomfort, I'm going to stop 1 or 2 steps before that and justify to myself, oh, that's still a no square. But there's got to be some sort of recognition between I'm going to touch it just enough, but to see it, I'm just refusing to go into complete discomfort.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's an attack. I'm saying what is a way, like to me, I feel a very large difference between a space where my heart is open and there's almost this peace and tranquility in the moment of now. Not like Eckhart Tolle's moment of now, but just like there's not myself desiring anything or splitting my duality or wishing something did or did not happen. There's just this peace. And I'm feeling the calmness of that moment. And now anytime anything comes in, but really it's just like if I have an opinion about something, now I can guarantee you 100% that there's a trigger. And so now I'm like, oh, look, there's an opinion. And then instead of stopping there, I have to go, what is the trigger? How is this pathway triggering me into split duality of good and bad? And deep down, I'm just a child screaming because somebody is there not going to help me. Or I feel hopeless, right? Or I'm bad, or the world is ending. Really, the world is ending, right? The trigger is coming from that space. The world is ending.
Right. No, I mean, everything feels like the world is ending.
But you have to recognize the two spaces, completely different. Like there might as well be 2 different realities.
Yeah, yeah.
The space of where the world is ending, and chances are you have an opinion. Like it's as simple as that. Like when I say this, I think most people would go, well, I have an opinion. Like, what do you mean? Does that mean not having an opinion? And yeah, it quite literally means that you don't have an opinion.
Is an opinion the same thing as a preference?
Maybe, yeah, it depends.
See, I don't know. I'm not. I genuinely don't know. Like, does the ascended being have a preference for vegetables versus meat, or, I like blue Kool-Aid versus red Kool-Aid? I don't know. I don't even know if that's like an uncharged preference.
Yeah.
But there's a charged preference and then there's an uncharged preference, right?
Yeah.
There's charged opinions. Oh my gosh, I really care about the Republicans and Democrats. And then there's, well, I like blue more than I like red. Red's fine. I just prefer blue. Right?
Why?
I don't even know why I like blue. I've always liked blue.
Yeah, but you've never spent time analyzing that. Deep down, if you start analyzing a true preference between red and blue, you will go down to triggers.
I like cucumbers.
It will go down to triggers.
I think they taste good. And maybe it is that. Maybe it's all blue. Blue happens to be calming to me in the same way that maybe pink is calming to someone else. Or cucumbers taste good. And so if it tastes good, that's safer than, peas, which don't taste good. That's dangerous. It might be. Right? Maybe there is charge behind even the most benign preference.
Yes. But except to say that there's a preference, therefore there's a charge, is appalling for most people to accept. And they will never accept that. And so they will never actually use this as a due diligence overview of like, wait, how do I reach peace? How do I reach open heartness where acceptance doesn't come from the duality of rejections, but acceptance is the isness of the moment as is.
Right. See, I think it ends up going to, well, if I don't have a preference, then how can I, it's incomprehensible to live without preferences and opinions. And it's like, how can I enjoy anything? Because enjoying something means that I prefer to enjoy it versus not preferring to enjoy it. So it's like,
isn't that a split in duality then?
No, it is. It is. But like, that doesn't sound great, not enjoying things.
Because you automatically, in all of your preference, go to the unsafety that causes you to fear the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Everything, because you're living in unsafety, is being viewed through the lens of how do I mitigate this feeling? And if you're living in mitigation, you're living in fear, you cannot even draw a perspective of what it is like to just be. Because you're always trying to defend, protect, hope not, pray to God, Lord Jesus, that there's, if this person fails me, if this person fails me, if this person fails me, and there's no one here to save me, there's no one here to save me. Well, guess what? The last straw is God, Lord Jesus will save me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the blindness that you have. So we as humanity have. But not to have that blindness is to be in the space of the open heart where there is no opinion.
Right.
And we don't even know how to be there because we're only living out of the trigger of unsafety.
Right. I mean, it's like, it sounds difficult / impossible to do. I say that. It's like, it feels like there's this spectrum of, well, I can see, releasing opinions and triggers around some things, but not other things. It's so I don't know. Interesting.
I mean, this is like,
oh, I would prefer to have this piece of art in my house versus that piece of art. Like, can you even have art in your house? In my mind, it goes down to
the
all
unknown,
these,
which you fear.
It is unknown. It is unknown.
You fear the unknown, and once again, you don't even let the universe be as is,
right?
Because you're trying to mitigate and control everything into a very particular set of circumstances. Therefore, you have a pretense of control, so you don't fear even the unknown. But you're trying to control the universe. You're literally trying to put a universe in the box.
Right. That's what we do.
The universe cannot even offer you anything real if the only thing you do is trying to mitigate the unsafety that you're refusing to even acknowledge. Like, when you get deep down into it, there's not that many real experiences out there. If everything is a mitigation of this unsafety and try not to feel vulnerable.
Those aren't real experiences?
They are crafted experiences out of the beacon of, I feel unsafe, universe, show that to me.
Or maybe they're not genuine.
They're not truthful experience of the universal potential. You're experiencing universe through a locked box that is at all times controlled, experienced, and exercised from the safety net of X. And X is your particular flavor. And so the universe exists over here with quite literally unimaginable infinite number of potential experiences that you are refusing to face or rejecting, quite literally going rejected. And you're refusing to be in the space of potential because potential is threatening.
Yeah.
If that's not motivating, I guess you have to believe that the words that I'm saying are actually true in order to actually find them motivating. But if you don't believe that the words that I'm saying, you will then find them threatening, and then therefore you will refuse everything I have just said,
Right.
because it's nonsensical. Because deep down, it's actually threatening.
Right. It's interesting how to just feel all the little nuances where it is threatening. Right. All the little ways of like, can I prefer a color? Can I prefer art? How do you live in the modern world type of things, which are all imagined problems, right? These are all like straw man arguments that the psyche, the ego, comes up with to kind of excuse away any justification for actually trying to go down that path. It's like, oh, well, okay, so if I were to, become enlightened, then, do I prefer to pay my mortgage? Well, if I have no preference, then no, I lose the house. So therefore I shouldn't do that. It's this bizarre chain of events, which is like, if only I had that problem, if only I had the problem that I'm an enlightened being and there's a mortgage that may or may not be paid. But it's right. My mind goes to these places because it is safer to stay in the status quo of, well, got to pay the mortgage because that's safe. Got to make money so we can pay the mortgage so we can keep a house so that, me and you and the kids can all be, it's safe. It's very safe. Versus this is unknown and scary and I don't know what it looks like. I have no idea what that looks like, but it looks different than this. So that's very, very scary.
But at some point, you have to allow yourself to see how much time you're spending trying to control every outcome to mitigate unsafety.
Right. No, there's a lot of control, illusion of control.
There's not a lot. There's only illusion of control.
Yeah.
There's only effort into control.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose all effort that we're doing, humans are doing, period, is done to, I mean, definitionally, right? If you're doing something in order to have an outcome. You're breathing in order to stay alive. You're right. It's everything that is done with an intention, deliberate or not, of achieving some sort of outcome, goal, step, something. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, but instead of excusing it out to like everything is, look at the awareness that you're trying to push onto what you actually do. That's once again an excuse into like, oh, well, everything is control. So if everything is control, including breathing, then I don't have to take care of the unaware control that I'm having here because even breathing is part of the control. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to justify the control exists, period, and breathing is even control. Therefore, some control is okay.
I mean, I think everything is control.
The system, your nervous system, breathes in response to your stimuli, right? So the pattern of your breath, right, or the depth of your breath equates to the responses of your nervous system and your vagus system feeling in particular moment to the current set of scenarios. So if you are stressed out about your car rolling down the hill or, trees dying, then your breath is more shallow because your nervous system is triggered, right? And you have no awareness about the trigger. And so your breath is reflective nature of your state of emotional distress.
Right.
The goal is not to control the breath. The breath is there as an indication of what you're actually refusing to acknowledge that you feel.
Right. That's the breath is the effect, not the cause.
It's an indication. You
Sure.
can use it as an indication to go,
right.
Look, if I'm blind to how I actually feel, then look, oh my gosh, my breath is shallow. Maybe I can use that as a tool to see that I'm triggered.
Yeah.
Right? But you're not controlling the breath. The breath is functioning on its own based on your system's response to any one moment of being aware or not being aware, trying to control things or trying not to control things.
Yeah. I guess I when I said breath, I meant in as much as breathing period, not like in response to it. But yeah.
Yogis say whenever you reach a point of enlightenment, there's no need to breathe.
So then there's, yeah. Well, then
So
maybe,
breath cannot even be used as an example, something that is controlled by, because at some point somebody said that, there's this space in which you reach this oneness, and then therefore the breath is no longer even part of the system of awareness. It just does. And if the body requires oxygen, it takes in, but it could go minutes and minutes without breathing. Like in Kriya Yoga, that's the whole thing, is getting into the space where your breath like almost doesn't exist. You're kind of like almost stop breathing, right? Which is a way to trick your system into status of calmness in hopes that in reverse, you can start to
right.
draw awareness.
I mean, I know that it's really easy to use the breath to either get in a heightened, state of arousal or a state of calm. There's all kinds of breathing practices to do one or the other.
Yeah, but I think the breath is not something that you control, but in general, breath is there as a reflection of your true state of being.
Right. No, I mean, to force it the other way, like in the deliberate breath work or deliberate, like box breathing to like, okay, I'm all worked up. I need to calm myself down by, slow breathing or something like that. It is your breathing is an indicator of your internal state, but at the same time, you can use your breathing to modify your internal state.
Yeah, whenever we do the breath work session that we do, right? Like the only thing that we're doing is we're laying down and we're just deepening the breath.
Yeah.
And
a little bit deeper, a little bit faster. Yeah.
And we both lose it, right?
Yeah.
Because the amount of trapped energy that it starts to release whenever you start going deeper and deeper into your cycle, right? Of you expanding your lung capacity, right? And everything that is trapped in there just basically starts to come up. But yeah, in that case, you're using it as a tool to bring up trapped energy, or you can use it as a tool to realize, oh, look, I'm actively hitting something that is trapped and it's causing my breath to basically be non-existent and I'm getting ready to pass out. Yeah. So, as far as raptures go, I think people, I'm not going to generalize that. Some people are just doing this for shits and giggles, I think, in order to have, because they're bored, and this is a great way to distract yourself and entertain yourself on social media posts that are more fun than, not posting, right?
TikTok raptures.
Sure, it's a TikTok rapture, right? But I think other people who truly somehow associate with it are reaching the end of their rope to where the normal amount of design stimuli in the three-dimensional space is not working to numb off the unsafety that they have been numbing off all of their life. So like the tools that they have used in the past that caused their system to just numb off and go, la, 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 I don't feel unsafe, la, 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 this is not triggering, la, 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 right? So the things they used in the past are stopping to work, right?
Yeah.
And the unsafety is breaking through more and more and more. Not just for us. Like I know you and I are actively trying to stay in awareness of unsafety and welcome it for the last several weeks. But I think this is happening for everyone, even without their awareness.
No, I think in the last, 6 months, year, it has really kind of peaked up.
It's amping up, right? And right now, the rapture is that, because the regular tools that you have used to not actualize how you feel about bulldozers taking down your flower beds are not working. Like Jesus Christ, God, Lord, Savior, is the last straw for hope. It's your last numbing tool. If you have been using religion as a numbing tool in order not to actualize how you feel, and a lot of people have, especially in the United States, because the Judeo-Christian complex, especially Christian complex, has basically designed itself as such. It's designed itself as a la 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 land that where we don't talk about Bruno. Nothing else is working. Like if alcohol is still there, it is stopping its effect and things are breaking through, right? Like if you use alcohol to numb off the la 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 land, then it's not working as well as it used to. If the drugs were there, then not working as well as they're used to. So the system has made it to where the regular things that used to work that would allow you to stay blind are no longer working. And one of the last final straws of safety net is, God, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or any other religion that you abide to that you
There's
have used as a safety net.
Right. Some sort of higher power that, worst case, that's there for me.
Yeah. And so hence the rapture is that. Like, okay, there's nowhere to go. This has to be it. Do you know what I mean? This is people's last straw attempt to stay calm because finally Jesus is going to come today. I would wager to say for those people, hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
Still here tomorrow.
But by default, then they're in hell tomorrow. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
They have designed a system.
I think the rationalization as well, I guess maybe it wasn't yesterday. So then I seem to be here, but everybody else seems to be here. If 20% of the population disappeared, then they would be, oh shit, this is hell. But they'll rationalize it out with, well, nobody seemed to disappear. So when's that next rapture coming? I don't know.
Obviously, some people have disappeared today.
I mean, people have died today. I don't know if that.
Yeah, why wouldn't you not think that they were taken by Jesus?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then therefore you weren't.
Right.
And therefore, whatever this Christian mindset is, then you are on the other end of that rapture.
I mean, I'm sure it could just, people die every day. So if the number of people that die today isn't significantly different than the day before or the day before or the day before, then we'll just pretend that this wasn't the real rapture. And, the dude who came up with it in 2018 happened to be wrong about the date. It's still coming, though. It's still coming.
You don't think in any way it would have those people question their religious beliefs if every time there's a rapture, it doesn't happen?
I mean, you would think so, but I mean, maybe I'm just cynical, but I think that if anything, they might double down and go, well, we were just wrong on the detail of the date. It's coming. We just didn't get the date right. It's been coming for 2,000 years. There's always, some sort of end of the world rapture type prediction, right? How all of them have come and gone, and there's however many more predicted into the future.
I guess to me, the obvious extension of rapture talk, or you believing in it or even not believing in it, would be there, I hope, as an opportunity to evaluate each individual's personal relationship with religion, one, but then two, their well-being. Not to say that you're crazy if you believe in rapture, but what does the rapture actually offer?
To me, I think I don't know, but I would think that a lot of people, the rapture gives them some excuse. It's like, well, okay, the rapture's on Wednesday, so basically I don't have to I don't have to worry about Thursday or beyond. So, okay, well, I'll
Excuse for what then?
like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I've got this all wrong, but an abdication of responsibility.
Because that's your thing.
Maybe, right?
To me, it would be the opposite. It would be like, oh, look, I'm really married to this concept of the rapture, and I have been hoping and praying for it all my life. And I'm really wishing for it. And let's just say, even if you don't believe that today is the rapture day, but in general,
It's
the
coming.
marrying to the idea that rapture is coming within itself communicates a charge. And then I would hope it's an opportunity to go, wait, why do I have a charge about this concept? And in this case, you would say, oh, it's such a positive concept because I get to be saved.
Right.
But then within that thought, then you would go, because otherwise I'm doomed. And then that provides an opportunity to go, wait, why do I think I could be doomed, or why do I think I need to be saved? Do you see what I mean? That there's a dualistic split in psyche that is not open heart, love, and light. I don't know. Maybe this is way too far of a stretch to have anyone go into that space of open heart and go, is it actually open heart? Is Jesus coming and offering me rapture an open heart concept? Or is it proof that I have done right by Jesus all this time and I finally get the reward that I deserve?
I think, and again, maybe I'm cynical, but I think it's more often the latter. It's more often some sort of, finally, all that hard work and prayer and belief has finally paid off.
But how do you not see that sinister?
No, I do see it sinister.
No. How do normal citizens not see that as sinister, as opposed to like, wait, it's actually the opposite of love and light.
I mean, but that goes back to my fundamental issue with religion, at least how I was brought up with it, is that it felt sinister with a nice, pretty bow on it. That look, it's a nice bow. This is all love and light, and this is great. It's like, yeah, but there were these, sinister undertones and interpretations and teachings to it.
But you cannot say religion, period. It is a choice for you to take that belief and own it as your own truth.
Yeah.
You can't just say,
I'm not saying, right. I mean,
you chose to grab on to some concept of that and then have been living by that if you continue to be religious for 60 years.
I mean, there are different ways that even the same religion will be internalized by different people. Some people will, I assume, take it in this sinister way of like, it's like, you can view religion, like Christianity, for example, you can view it as like, I've got to be good so that I don't go to hell. The whole point of being good is to avoid hell. Or being good is in and of its own thing, in and of itself, like the right thing to do. So it isn't about avoiding the punishment. It's just the way of being.
But the idea of being good within itself is already corrupt because it is a split dualistic concept of there's such thing as bad. That therefore you're already behind in any form of awareness. There's no such thing as good and bad outside of each other. Like, the reason why the good exists is because it's offset by the bad.
Well, yeah. Good is defined as the opposite of bad, and bad is defined as opposite of good. Yeah.
You locked yourself in some position of control, perception of control, to where these actions are supposed to be approved and these actions are supposed to be deemed bad or unsafe or Satan-like or devil-like. And then therefore your goal is to
do more of these and less of those.
But it is still control. If you're controlling a scenario, if you're trying to control your actions, that means deep down, you're actually exercising the full scale of this good and bad scenario. And you're just hoping that you will control yourself enough to where you can perceive yourself to be good. But deep down, you're still bad because within the good is the bad.
Yeah.
That is pointless and futile exercise to always be trying to be somewhere as opposed to just being in love with the isness. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, it's hard to wrap a religion around that.
But that's it. All religions that teach good and bad
get power and make money and whatever.
No, but that is surrendering your sovereignty to some Judeo-Christian religious complex that has control over you.
Yeah.
But they don't, because at the end of the day, waking up in the morning, no one is forcing you to do anything at all. And you're choosing whether you see the world through the lens of good or bad, or you see the world in the isness that is just this pure nature of reality. Right? A pope or a priest, no one is there every morning by your bed telling you that you better be good today, because otherwise you're going to go to hell. No one's saying this. This is a belief that you choose to bring in into that moment of waking.
Yeah.
So then therefore there's an option within that moment of waking to go, wait, if I'm always running towards the good, what is it that I'm actually doing? And that means I'm just running away from the bad. So within any good that I actually do, the only nature of reality that then exists is me trying not to be bad or trying not to propagate bad. But that means I'm splitting the entire nature of my reality through the filter of good and bad.
Right.
Is that not like a flabbergasting revelation that like, fuck, how can there be anything else if I'm actively trying to think bad and run away from it?
I don't think, no, but I think that's where most religious teachings are, is that there is good and there is bad, and we want more of the good and less of the bad. That is certainly how I was raised. I mean, there's angels and there's demons. There's good and there's bad. They are literally personified. So, yes, 100%. There's good and there's bad. That is the teaching. Do more good, do less bad. Depending on the details. Maybe if you do bad, it can be cleansed away. Maybe not. Maybe, details. But there's definitely good and there's definitely bad. That is the teaching.
Maybe overriding the scope of this all. If you wake up in the morning and that's the tendency, the right question to ask yourself would be, why do I feel unsafe in the behavior that I would exercise regardless of any rules or restrictions or regulations? Right?
Right.
Why do I feel unsafe?
We could reword that as, why do I feel unsafe as myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I have to put on a mask in order to feel safe?
Yeah.
Why don't I have to behave an X behavior in order to feel safe?
Right.
Why don't I have to go to church 3 days a week in order to feel safe? I don't know. Why do I have to, I don't know, whatever else, not even religious applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I have to pay my mortgage in order to feel safe?
Right.
Why don't I have to have not leaking ceiling in order to feel safe? Why don't I have to have clean counters without any spillage on it in order to feel safe? But like, the beautiful answer to it all is because deep down you just feel unsafe and vulnerable. And that's it. Like, the answer is just that.
The answer is that we all feel unsafe all the time. And everything we do is to try to cover that up and not feel it.
And allow
Everything
that,
that we do.
Yeah. So the answer is not even the answer is because there's only one answer, because you feel unsafe. Deep down, nebulous, terrifying, world-ending rapture coming, unsafe. Right?
Right.
And from that unsafety, you can accept that is your truth, not to make it go away, not to, because the second you accept it, you will not feel unsafe. Allow yourself to be unsafe.
Right.
Accept the unsafe. Let the strapped energy flow. This is the release that your nervous system is looking for.
Right.
Your nervous system has been trapped, unfunctioning, sterilized from truth, and you're simply allowing your nervous system to finally function at its normal capacity when you face the unsafety that you've been refusing to face and designed all these stories of religions, of business, of mortgages, of windows, of roofs, of love, of hate, of shoes, of flowers, of bulldozers, nonsense to avoid feeling unsafe.
Right. We all feel it, and we do everything we can to not feel it, but
Pretend we don't feel
pretend we don't feel it. But if it's just, it's honest to just actually feel it.
That is
And
the
then-
only truth that you can offer yourself that will have you be at peace if Jesus does come.
Right. Because you're feeling it no matter what.
The-
So you
the-
may as well deliberately feel it. Be honest with yourself and actually feel it, instead of going, no, I don't feel unsafe. I feel perfectly safe, but I got to pay the mortgage and I got to get rid of that bulldozer, but I feel safe. No, you don't. Nobody does. Nobody does. So just admit it and accept it.
Like there's not even a conversation. How many conversations will cease to be had if you just admit to this to yourself, within yourself, and spend some time feeling uncomfortable with that reality for a month, for 2, for 3, for a year? You just sit inside yourself and go, oh, fuck, let this flow. And the second it starts flowing, it is flabbergasting how huge it is, how earth-ending it is, how larger than rapture large it is.
Yeah.
And it feels that unsafe all the time.
Yeah. And it becomes blindingly obvious how everything out there is just another little entry point into it.
Mitigation of, you're trying to mitigate this feeling. You're trying to numb off this feeling. You're trying to pretend like this is not something that you feel. Yeah. So the running away, like this is what I want to say. The running away doesn't even make sense.
Right. But the running away, on the surface, it feels safe because we know that we're, deep down, we all know that we're afraid, and that's scary. And running away, I think, instinctively feels like the right thing to do because it feels like we're trying to distance ourselves from this feeling. So if I feel scared and that's scary and dangerous and unsafe, I want the opposite of that. I don't want to feel that. I'm going to do whatever I can, whether that's, intentional, I'm going to drink my problems away, or whether that's, I'm just going to, hope that the rapture comes and takes me. That helps put distance between your ego psyche and this feeling that is there and is not going away. And that I understand because I'm great at it. I've done it for 45 years. How that feels like the right thing to do. But turns out, A, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And B, it doesn't make any progress. It makes negative progress. It just takes this thing which exists and it just buries it, and it'll just sit there and grow and fester. And
it has been sitting and growing and festering.
Yeah.
That's why that is why normal everyday events feel life-threatening.
Yeah, because it's built up this pressure, and any little crack it can find, like, oh my gosh, the flowers are getting bulldozed over, or something, anything trivial.
Spills on the counter.
There's a spill on the counter. That little crack, it just bursts through that crack like a volcano, and oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. I have to do something about it. I feel unsafe. I have to do something, and that will help me feel a little bit safer. I can bury it back down if I do something.
Yeah.
Still doesn't work.
No. We're still here, and
Still
the
here.
rapture has yet to happen.
Still here.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.